Alrighty, guys. Let's move this out of the way. Let's see if that might help. Oh, let's keep things a little organized here. We're gonna keep things a little organized. We're gonna try to. Anyways, see if I can bring up the screen. There we go. We got a little unbagging today. Unboxing, unbagging. We got a couple of our games in. Hopefully, you watched our episode on Saturday. War Room. Last Saturday, we had on Thomas Van Heer, aka um, um, I'm drawing a blank now. Aviation, right? Yeah. I forget. I forget. What is it? What is he? Now it's gonna drive me crazy until I look it up. I gotta look up historic wings. Thank you. It was right at the tip of my tongue. I couldn't think of it. I apologize for that. Historic wings, aka historic wings, and we had him on the War Room because he's doing a lot of great things, and he's making some nice book games. So I was going to order him before we had him on the show. I talked with him, and after just talking with him for like 10 minutes, I could tell I'm going to want these games because this is the kind of guy who puts his heart and soul into everything he does. If you go back and look at his website, Historic Wings, he's been running this website for 26 years. He grew up as an aviation guy. His father was a pilot. He's a pilot. He loves this stuff. So, yeah, I can definitely tell after talking with him for just a few minutes that these were games that these book games that he made are going to be really, really good. So I ended up buying both of them Saturday night, and they're here today. So hopefully, if you haven't checked that out, Dwayne, come on by. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. If you haven't checked out our War Room from Saturday, do that. Well, let's do a little unboxing here of the stuff. So let's see what we got here. I want to be careful not to cut everything. So let's see what we got here. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's all we got. Just these two items. Yep. All right. Now, those guys that been on the channel for a while, you know, a couple weeks ago I got my first book game, Coral Sea Solitaire. This is, of course, the Worthington one. And so I decided, you know, if I was going to try some book games, I would talk with Thomas and talk to him about his game. Obviously, we got Tally Ho, a solitaire air war game, Historic Wings, and Thomas Van Heer. And the cool thing is, this is all of his artwork. This is his actual artwork, which he didn't mention until after we stopped recording. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, all the artwork that you see is mine." So, anyways, what do we got? We got what do we got? We got like a 116 page book here. Cool stuff. The future is in your dice. Tally ho. All right. This patch was designed by Thomas Van Heer's late father, and kind of goes through some information there. So we have introduction, then we have the game rules, the mission setup, the sequence of play, movement, combat, bombing and strafing, victory conditions, an example of play, and then you have historic missions. Phase 1, history, mission 1 to 3, the Battle of Britain begins. Mission 2, convoy raid off the White Cliffs of Dover. Mission 3, fighter sweep off the island of Wight. Phase 2, History, Missions 4 to 6. Mission 4, Attack on the Convoy, Airfields and Radars. Mission 5, Ottertag, The Hardest Day. Mission 6, Luftwaffe reigns on the 4th of the 4th. Phase 3, History, Mission 7 to 9. Mission 7, Airfield Raids of Essex and the London area. Mission 8, On the Ropes, The Worst Day for the RAF. Mission 9, Targeting Aircraft Production. Phase 4, Missions 10 to 12. Mission 10, Black Sunday and the Doxford Big Wing. Mission 11, the Coup de Grace and the Battle of Big Britain Day. Mission 12, the Final Daylight Bombing of London. And Phase 5, History, Mission 13 to 15, Night Interceptance Duty. Debut of the Regala Aeronautics Italiana. And Mission 15, An Inglorious End to the Battle of Britain. Your campaign tracking sheet, your campaign game, your war report, your war cabinet votes, and your parliament votes. Alrighty, so that is, we got more stuff on the next page. Air Glossary, RAF aircraft, Luftwaffe bomber aircraft, Luftwaffe fighter aircraft, Italian fighter aircraft, Italian bomber aircraft. Pilot's Glossary, Radar Glossary, gameplay materials for photocopying, the aircraft counters, the aircraft performance chart, the mission tracking sheet, the mast information tracking sheet, Alright, assets to help support gameplay are uploaded to at the Board Game Geek, and the link is found. So, here's your introduction, your sector maps, your game counters, mission setup, setup charts, international squadrons, a sequence of play, movements. Movement and actions of the RA squadrons. Combat. Bombing and strafing. Victory conditions. Sector map overview of Southeast England. Combat example of play. And your history and missions. And here is mission number 1. And what you're going to do. So, I'm not going to go into too much more detail than that, other than just to kind of go over that. So, looks like lots of good stuff there. Tally ho! Tally ho, complexity 5 out of 10. Age range is 10 and above. Number of players is solitaire. Time to play is 20 to 45 minutes. Tally ho is a solitaire air war game about the Battle of Britain, fought in the skies over England in the summer of 1940 between the Royal Air Force of Great Britain and the Luftwaffe of Germany during the Second World War. To clear the way for Hitler's planned invasion of England, Operation Seelow, the Germans had to first secure air superiority by destroying the Royal Air Force. Designed by Thomas Van Air, the first of a series of book-based games, Tally Ho features fast play action with 15 missions to play, easy to understand rules, and a campaign theme that brings the backstory of one of history's most extraordinary aerial combats to life. Can you win the Battle of Britain? The future of Great Britain rests on your shoulders. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves that, if the British Empire and his Commonwealth are to last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour. Winston Churchill, 18th of June, 1940. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. So that is a look at what you get in Tally Ho. Let's look at our second problem for the evening. Keith, what is going on? How are you? Rob, what is going on? Check the last page for the print date. Oh my gosh, look at that. You're right. 18th of February, 2023. That was printed like literally 2 days ago. They just printed this book out for me. Wow, that's cool. That is cool. Thanks for mentioning that. And then, of course, his second publication. Again, Historic Wings and Thomas Van Eyre. MAG-23, Guadalcanal. Complexity, 5 out of 10. Age range is 10 and above. Solitaire, 15 to 60 minutes. I mean that when it comes to bravery, there isn't anybody in the world that can beat us. I don't think the United States has an episode in its history that can touch what's been done here. And his Richard Tergais, A Guadalcanal Diary. MAG-23 Guadalcanal is a solitaire air war game in the narrative style. Technically, operationally, and strategic decisions are required. The action comes together in your logbook where you can capture the stories and events of the 7.5-week deployment at Henderson Field. With your F-4F Wildcats defeating Japan's G4M Betty bombers and its many aces in the A6M Zeros. Will you stop the Tokyo Express? Designed by Thomas Van Eyre, this is the second in a series of book-based war games. It features fast-paced action that unfolds in the skies over ironbound sound and salvo. Each game is its own game, and together the days become an entire campaign as you lead your pilots into combat and face the jungle, disease, and naval bombardments, the fuel shortages, and Japanese finest aces. All right. So, good stuff there. Let's see what we have. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Here is planned and upcoming things that are coming in the Historic Wings. We have a list of like 10 things coming out. Wow, that is incredible. All right, here is the recommendations. Here is the contents of what you get. Introduction, how to play, game components, pre-flight gameplay, flight ops gameplay, post-flight gameplay, combat resolution, anti-aircraft artillery, dog fights, bombing and strafing, bailout injuries and SAR missions, using game counters, starting gameplay, the mission tables. Ooh, pretty tables. Ooh. Supporting mission tables, tracking sheets, bases, combat charts, counters, and backgrounds. Do you have a map you need to make a copy of to play a book game? Is the question from Dwayne. It depends on the game. Like, it depends on how it's designed. Like, for example, in my other book game series, this is Coral Sea. As you can see, you can literally see it has the map and all the charts and everything ready to go. This is more of a narrative style where you're going to be rolling on charts and stuff. So I don't think you necessarily need maps for that. but if there is maps, they're probably going to be included in the game. Ooh, look at these maps. And then you're going to keep track of your pilot rosters, who's available, who's dead, whatever. Cool. And you have your, ooh, look at this, your glossary of your different aircraft. Cool. Radar glossary. So yeah, I think these games are more designed to be like logbook style kind of campaign game. While this one is more like a scenario based interactive map type game. This is made by a different company. This is Worthington. This is obviously made by Historic Wings and Thomas Van Air. Again, we actually had him on the War Room last Saturday, just 3 days ago. We had him on the War Room, and he got to talk about his games, and talk about what's his design, you know, what he wanted to do with his design and stuff. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend you go watch that interview we did with him and listen to what he had to say, and you can understand what his thought process was going into these games and going into creating book games for you to play and enjoy. So yeah, I definitely wanted to pick these up. So got them now on the table. We are ready to go. So looking forward to giving these a try. So thank you guys for coming out for our live unboxing / unbagging of book games. MAG-23 Guadalcanal and Tally Ho, the solitaire air war game. You don't need to cut anything out of the book. You just turn back to the page. There is some things that you can cut out and use, but you don't necessarily need the ones in the book. They're uploaded to the Board Game Geek. So if there's anything on the Board Game Geek, you can go and print it out there. And yeah, maybe actually Historic Wings is actually in the chat right now. If you have a question, you can ask him right now about his design, what his philosophy was. So I'm glad he was able to join us tonight for a live unboxing of his games, book games. Great looking games, great looking stuff. Going to be definitely checking this out and playing it and looking at it. So the question was, Historic Wings, since you're just joining us, the question was, let me see if I can post this question here. Question was, do you have a map you need to make a copy of to play the game? And then also the question was, do you need to cut anything out of the book to play the game? So Thomas, if you have a moment and you want to type in your answer in, we'll go ahead and give you a second to do that. Everything you need is on Board Game Geek, so you don't have to cut anything out of the book. You may wish to color photocopy of the book, but the main assets are all in Board Game Geek. There you go. So yeah, if there's anything I think that's the way I think you talked to us Saturday about, and so I was kind of sharing that with people ahead of time. MAG-23 Guadalcanal can be played most entirely in the book, though I would recommend photocopying the key tables. So there you go. That is a look at the live unboxing / unbagging of the two book games. And like I said, cool enough, February 18th, 2023 was the actual print date of my February 18th, 2023. That's my book date. So MAG-23 comes in at, if you're interested to know, it comes in at 92 pages. Comes in. 92 pages. And Tally Ho comes in slightly more with 116 pages. So about 20 or 30 more pages in Tally Ho than MAG-23. So there you go. That is a look at the games and what you get in the games. Again, I'm not going to go page by page. I don't want to share too much. I'm just going to, kind of flip through so you guys can kind of get a general gist. It's all color. It's all charts and all nicely laid out for you to use and play with your different scenarios and an example of play and all of your rules and how to do things in the rule, in the game, and kind of all that information, mission setup, and how to play and all that. So, and the same thing over here with MAG-23, kind of see your extra information in the back, and some detailed information about the different assets in the game. And then you have different log sheets, pilot deployments, you have different maps, you have different counters. And again, these are all uploaded to Board Game Geek so that you can print these out and not have to, photocopy your own book. So that's good. And then, of course, you have your different charts and stuff that you're going to be rolling on and as you go through the different scenarios in this one. And I think we ended up having it's a 7-week campaign. So it's going to be this more of like a campaign setup. This is kind of more of like an individual scenario type setup, I think. I guess this is broken up into different missions. Yeah, missions. So, definitely different, even though they're designed by the same person and the same, same general concept, but they are designed slightly different than one another. So that'll be interesting to check out and look at. So looking forward to giving these a whirl. A few bits of advice when playing Tally Ho. I highly recommend you print out the hex maps at double size. MAG-23 Guadalcanal was designed with much larger counters, in part because of older eyesight. Don't we all? Don't we all? So there we go. Looking forward to checking out both of these book games. So thanks to Historic Wings for making it out for the live unboxing. And we're getting these on the channel sometimes in the near future. I've already got several things lined up, so we'll try and fit these in somewhere along the line to give you guys an example of how to do them. I do have to, obviously read through the rules and figure out how to play them and what I have to do and stuff, and then we'll try to get these on the table. So thanks everybody for coming out. Historic Wings and Tim, Dwayne, thanks for all your good questions. You can find these games over on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, type in either Historic Wings or Thomas Van Air or Tally Ho or MAG-23 Guadalcanal, and you should see the copy. You should see these listed there. But this is what they look like. You just find them and click on them, and you can purchase them over there at the Amazon shop. And of course, don't forget, Saturday, we actually interviewed and talked with Thomas Van Heer, aka Historic Wings. We talked to him about his designs, what his goal was, his, biggest design decisions and how he went about creating a book game. We asked him all kinds of really good questions. So if you want to find out what his thought process was and what he was interested in doing by creating these book games and, what they're designed for and who they're designed for, check out our interview with him on Saturday. All right. Last piece of advice on MAG-23 is to print out the roster, pilot roster at double size as well. It's good recommendations as well. So definitely, hopefully, we'll do that. So I'm gonna be going over to Board Game Geek as soon as I'm done with you guys, and I'm gonna be downloading all the files. So I'm ready to go. I can start printing these out and be ready to go. There's also a playthrough video on MAG-23 on my YouTube channel. It says Historic Wings. So if you want to see it in action, go check out Historic Wings. All right, until next time, my friends. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Don't forget to tip your waitresses on the way out the door. And we'll see you all real soon. Until then, my friends, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all real soon.